Hello, my lovely people. We are back with another update regarding Michael's prison sentence. Okay, and as you can see here, as it has been reported by In Touch, Michael not allowed to see daughter without approval after prison release. Now, also on top of that, Jasmine also then came out with a very strong statement regarding Gino, which is something that we will get into later on into this video. Okay. Now, with that being said, in this article itself in particular here, it does say that Michael will not only have to register as a sex offender after serving his 10-year sentence, his 10-year prison sentence, but he will have to submit to random polygraph exams and undergo treatment. In Touch can exclusively report. In Touch obtained the judgment signed by the federal judge presiding over Michael's criminal case. Michael was found guilty on 2 felony counts related to possessing child pornography in July 2024. In October, Michael was ordered to take a decade in prison, followed by another 10 years on probation. As part of his sentence, Michael was ordered to pay $10,000 in fines and another $5,000 to victims that were featured on the videos found on Michael's laptop. Prosecutors asked the court to sentence Michael to 20 years. They described the videos he possessed as sadistic. In court, Michael claimed he accidentally downloaded the illegal videos while searching for other content. The prosecutors did not buy his argument and told the court Michael was more than just a casual observer of what, who happened to download the illegal videos when seeking legal pornography. Honestly, for someone to sit there and say that they did it by accident or did not know is ridiculous, because why would you then keep it on your computer? If you accidentally downloaded something that you wasn't supposed to, you would 1000% delete as fast as you can. Do you know what I mean? The second that you click on, you realize it's not what you thought it was. You click off it and then you delete it. Or you have the other option as well. You could then actually submit it to the police. But then at the same time, you're shooting yourself in the foot, aren't you? Because you'd been caught for downloading something. Unless you obviously say that, yeah, you downloaded something and you end up getting this instead. And therefore, you can obviously, report that these children are now being exploited online. So I guess it's one of those things where you have 2 choices in that matter. It's either you delete as quick as you can and act like as if it never happened, or you report it to the police and hope that they don't, look at you as somebody who could be a part of the crime, which could always be a bit of a sticky situation. What you definitely don't do is keep it on your computer, and then later on, what happens? It gets found in there, and then now you want to say that it was by accident. Nah. That is ridiculous. That makes no absolute sense. The fact that he thought he was going to get away with it in that way is freaking comical. Now, he does say that has In Touch first reported Michael checked into prison back in January. The judgment obtained by In Touch revealed the court recommended Michael serve his time at a prison in Iowa, which would allow his family to visit. In the judgment, the court also laid out the rules Michael will have to follow after he is released. The court ordered Michael to undergo mental health evaluation and participate in a mental health treatment program. To be honest with you, a lot of the time they don't be doing these kind of rehabilitation type of programs for people, So that's actually a really good thing, because I know half the time a lot of people go into prison and they become reoffenders because, well, when they're in there, they're not really educated or given, a rehab format or anything that can help them not want to do the same crime again. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, they don't have to keep reoffending. But as you know, the government, benefits from reoffenders. But nonetheless, though, whoa, yeah. Now, this is the letter that was written, I believe, obviously earlier on before by his wife, which is something that we did cover previously in another video when we were doing the updates of Michael. So if you haven't seen obviously this stuff in particular, you've got a choice, either pause and read it, or you can check it out in the previous videos. Okay, guys. But it does say here that the probation officer is in consultation with the treatment provider will supervise your participation in the program. Open brackets, provider location, modality, duration, intensity, etc. Close bracket. The judgment read, following his release, Michael will have to register as a sex offender. He will be responsible for keeping his registration up to date. or he could risk being found in violation. So I'm going to take the assumption that this means when he's released, he will not be given a new identity. Because I know that sometimes sex offenders, when they get released, what happens? Some of them end up getting a new identity, which I've always found to be freaking fraudulent as F. Like, there are people who do crimes that are nowhere near to this caliber. And then when they come out, they keep their name, and then they find it very hard to get a job or whatnot because of their criminal record. Meanwhile, people like him can come out with a new identity and get a job easy as 1, 2, 3, which has always been effed up. So the fact that it seems as if he'll be keeping his name and they won't give him a new identity is something that I love to see, because anyone that wants to employ him definitely needs to know who he is and what he was arrested for. And then they can make a choice, especially if he was to apply for a job that is around children. Okay? If you ask me that, if he, when he comes out, let's see if he makes it out, but you never know. He should be put in a job that involves him being locked in a freaking room where he has no access to freaking a single human specimen, to be honest with you, but that's just me. Michael will also not be allowed to contact with minors, including his child, unless permitted by the probation officer. Damn freaking right. To be fair, it sickens me that his wife has supported him throughout this whole thing, and she's still pushing for him to be able to see his own daughter. That just doesn't sit right with me in any shape or form. That is absolutely wrong. And she should be ashamed of herself. But that's just my opinion. Now, it continues by saying the order read, you must not have direct contact with any child you know or responsibly should know to be under the age of 18, including your own children, without the permission of the probation officer. If you do have any direct contact with any child you know or any responsibly should know to be under the age of 18, including your own child, without the permission of the probation officer, you must report this contact to the probation officer within 24 hours. You know what though? Because we live in a world of online deliveries, basically this guy can't go to a store to buy any groceries. As of course you Americans would say, we say food. He just basically can't be in any public space, to be honest with you. In fact, he just can't leave. When he's out of prison, he basically just can't leave his house or wherever he lives in the daytime, to be honest with you. He can only really go to places at nighttime when the kids are all in bed. Because realistically, when you leave your house, there's a chance you're going to walk past a child. You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, I understand that these are the things that will be a part of the thing that would be understandable as something that he cannot avoid. But of course, going to a park would definitely be something that he can avoid, or going to any attraction that involves children is something that he can definitely avoid. But let's not get twisted though. You could go to a mall, a shopping mall, and even though that's an area where, well, you're definitely going to meet kids in there, but because it's not an area that is specifically made for children, whatever, I guess there may be that excuse. But let's not forget though, a lot of people end up getting their kids snatched in those kind of places anyway. Obviously that's not what the crime is made, but you never know. So really and truly, if you ask me, I would say that he should be told that when he comes out, he cannot leave the house after a certain amount of time, or it's going to be a sticky one. The way I look at it, he's just been in prison for the rest of his life. But nonetheless, though, we continue here where it says the judge noted. So I was just double checking that I finished reading the top bit. My apologies. The judge noted direct contact includes written communication, in-person communication, or physical contact. In addition, Michael will have to submit to a periodic polygraph test to ensure that you are in compliance with the requirements of your supervision or treatment program. Damn freaking right. Now, of course, this is the other half of the letter that his wife had written to the judge at the time that we covered in a previous video. Now, with that being said, it's something particular here. Continue saying the order read, no violation proceedings will be based solely on the results of a polygraph examination or a valid Fifth Amendment refusal to answer a polygraph question. Michael cannot use any computer or the internet without prior approval from his probation officer. Hell, I would never let him be on a computer ever again, to be honest with you. With that being said, it also says here, to be fair though, in 10 years time, the way AI is going right now, you never know. They could probably put some programs in the computer that, watches and supervises specific people more than normal. I mean, obviously, right now people people have conspiracies that we get watched anyway of our devices. But I'm just saying, by then, I'm pretty sure there'll be technology, around for people like him that can really monitor him. I wouldn't be surprised if his probation officer ends up becoming a freaking robot. To be honest, if you know what I'm saying. But to be fair, I reckon at that time we'd be in a position where computer can probably scan our faces or read or whatever. So I reckon they'll probably be able to pretty much flash a red flag at that time whenever this man would come across a computer. And if he was to go on a website he's not meant to probably, issue a arrest warrant for him immediately. You never know, because the future is moving fast, folks. A lot of these things that are happening now, we never thought that we'd see them either one in our lifetime or probably until maybe 2050, you know what I mean? But then again, when these movies were made in the 90s, they did always say they were going to happen in the 2000s. So you never know. But nonetheless, though, we continue where it says the probation officer will also be allowed to conduct random searches on Michael's computers. That is beautiful to read. The ex-TLC star is prohibited from possessing any materials, including videos, photos, or books that show sexually explicit conduct. Michael will also not be allowed to live within 100 feet of a school or a daycare center. Hell, you should add a park in there too. You know what I mean? Okay. Or any kind of facility that has events for children. Like, I mean, here we got things like jump parks. But there's a bunch of trampolines and those inflatable things, bouncy castles. That's the one. Yeah. Anything that's just children dominated. Yeah, he needs to not be around in any shape or form. Michael's mother, Kerry, and Aziza wrote letters to the court before his sentencing, praising him as a son, father, and a husband and father. Michael filed his appeal to his sentence. In Touch first reported Michael recently filed an appeal of his sentence. From what I understand, it got rejected because this man is not in a position where he can be filing for these things and getting away with it. But let's get into the Jasmine information here. So, the post itself was then reported on 90 Day Fiancé Alexa, and then Jasmine herself in particular ended up popping up in the comments where she says, it usually starts with porn addiction. Then people get into more disturbing content. I hope every pedo gets rotten in jail. Be aware of who you declare a fan of, because we usually ignore the red flags. Now remember, there was a part before in one of the seasons, I'm pretty sure, where Jasmine did allude to the fact that Gino has content on his computer that is definitely not the most appealing content. She never clarified what it was. It frustrates me that she didn't, to be honest with you. It frustrates me that she can't just come out and tell us exactly what is going on, but I don't know if these things work in a different way. I don't know if, listen, I don't know her reasons. But this is something that I do feel like we should definitely we shouldn't take a blind eye to, okay? I think it's something that we should take very, very seriously. Now, also on top of that, obviously she does the addiction, but there was another comment that I saw. I thought it was a part of this thread. My apologies, my lovely folks. And that comment itself, do you know what? My apologies. I think that comment might have been in the next post, which would be this one here, where of course is then shown where Jasmine's obviously talking about it. And then I believe this is when her baby daddy Matt then appeared in the comments. And why can't I find it? But don't you worry, folks. I've got a screenshot. You know what I mean? You've always got to be prepared, because you know how people be deleting things. So let me pull up the screenshot of where Matt gets involved in the conversation as well. And as you can see here, Matt came in and obviously, responds to Jasmine. It says eventually they slip up and it all comes to light. Okay, so but I think the comment was then removed, to be fair, from that post. But nonetheless, though, the question is this: what are your thoughts on this? Because Jasmine has accused Gino multiple times of being online and preferring that as a source of pleasure, and Gino has not denied it in any shape or form. But also in the same conversation, she also did pretty much express how, this man has got content on there that is rather disturbing or inappropriate or just not right. She obviously never gave us details at the time when she said it, when she was on the show, of course. But the fact that she's obviously speaking up about the fact that she's obviously, mentioning it again or hinting towards it again must mean something's going on. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Not because of the person Gino is, but more because of the fact that the man has one serious addiction to one, paying women to be around him, but then two, to not actually being physically intimate with them because he'd rather pleasure himself. You know, so it does make you wonder why. Maybe he's one of those. Actually, no, he's not. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, please, and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.